Hello, fellows. How is it going?
It's feeling very merry, very January, very Mario potentially.
Very January Mario potentially. Okay, how about you, Elvis? How's it going?
It's going well. Can I already start with a question for you, or should I wait and hold
you know
myself?
what? No, let's do the question. What's the question?
I'm just curious. It's not a judgment call or anything, but I'm just curious. Why don't you have any sort of like little jingle or theme tune or opening to your podcast? Because you've had a couple versions of this,
like an opening.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't care. And
that much is clear.
I mean, I don't care, and I don't. Like what? I gotta get someone to do the music, and I gotta. It's just too much of a hassle, man. I just wanted to get this rolling, dog.
No,
Why,
no,
are you gonna sing a theme song for us? It seems like you're volunteering. You're gonna sing a theme song for us right now on the spot.
You know how uncouth it is for someone named Elvis to volunteer to sing, so I'm gonna have to pass on that one. But it was just an observation. Gotcha. It's very pragmatic. It's very you to just be like, all right, we're going. And then launch it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think part of me is it feels a little more organic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I will do here, which I don't do every episode, is I'm actually going to let you guys introduce yourselves. And why don't we start with, Elvis, I think will throw a fit if he's last. So we'll go with you first.
Oh, so we're not doing this by Twitter followers right now. Okay, great.
Oh, I see. You know what? No, maybe I'll go first.
Oh, you need to introduce yourself? That's right. You probably should. It's your podcast. Hi, I'm Elvis. I guess I'm on here because I've known both of these fellows for... God, what am I, James, saying fellows?
These fellows.
These gentlemen.
I've known both of these fools for, God, over half my existence now, maybe?
A long time now? Like, okay, let's
Middle
think
school,
back.
high school?
The ratio is only going to get worse because you haven't gotten rid of us yet.
I know. I tried. There was that one arc where I tried. Didn't help.
You went away. You tried to better yourself, and we sucked you back in.
Yes.
We sucked you right back in, man. When did we meet? 2005?
So are we just gonna?
I know I met David before you, but it was still around the same time. So I'm guessing that I was in freshman in high school, so that would be like 2004-ish, I'm gonna guess. So God, like 17 years? That's disgusting.
It's pretty bad.
But what do you do, my friend?
I do a lot of things. I'm an editor for film and video by trade, which means I cut a lot of web stuff because that's how it works these days. Especially these days during the pandemic. But I'll produce videos, or I have my own podcast called Tom Hanks Giving. So if you like Tom Hanks movies, you can take a listen to that. Sung One is on all of the Toy Story episodes.
The Toy Story ones are particularly good because I'm on those episodes,
also fantastic movies.
Yes.
Except for maybe 4.
The fourth one. But Elvis Kaboom on YouTube, right? Elvis Kaboom?
If you look up that, you'll find it. It's actually my old name. It's Splot Studios. So youtube.com/Splot Studios. But Elvis Kaboom everywhere else, and you can probably find it if you search that. And there's a lot of videos, comedy, podcast stuff, some more Mario stuff on the way.
Ooh, by the time this episode comes out, maybe. I'm not going to say what it is in case
so we're committing him to it, that he has to have it out before this podcast.
But there may be a video or two on the channel right now related to Mario that you should absolutely watch if you have not already.
And if not, it's going to be very
in the
soon.
future. So we'll see. We'll see if those are out. I'm very excited about those, though.
That's me in a nutshell. You don't need to know the whole depth of me as an individual podcast listener. Not yet, anyway. We'll get there.
Oh, we might dive into it as a part of this conversation, but yeah, like I said, go sub to Elvis Kaboom, and he's got good shit. All right, David, yo, who the fuck are you?
I'm David, otherwise known as Mewed. I tweet about video games. I'm a writer. Most people in your orbit probably know me from the time I was on Press Buttons and Talk, your Let's Play channel, and I very valiantly tried to get all the star coins, and you and Alex refused. You stomped on those dreams. You also chose to elevate one of my Mario fanfics to a full production. That was a big honor. But otherwise, I read for the webcomic Jack Beloved at jackbeloved.com, and otherwise spend a disgusting amount of time talking about video games and what other formats I can get away with.
Do you have the elevator pitch for Jack Beloved handy?
It is basically a story. It's a frontier fantasy where a would-be a sweet pea soldier boy falls in love with a demon guy. They're on opposite sides of a war, and it's an enemies to lover slow burn romance. So if you're into monster boyfriends, you might appreciate it.
And that's written by you and illustrated by
my husband Max. We're
who is a very talented artist.
Yeah.
So we'll plug all that shit at the end as well. But so now what these two jokers have not really talked about, well, David a little bit, is they are big Mario nerds, and we met through the Mario fanfiction communities back in 2003, 2004. That's when I think first met you guys. I was on Nintendo Writer. I met David through Nintendo Writer. Elvis was also on Nintendo Writer, actually. But you guys also went to Lemmy's Land, which I was too cultured for Lemmy's Land, so I did not necessarily partake.
Sheltered might be a better word.
See, in my mind, like, the separation is like I met all of you like after the release of Sonic Adventure 2, whereas like the Lemmy's Land is like, okay, that was more like around the release of Pokemon in my mind. It's like when I was in there.
Is everything in your life based off video game release dates? Like, okay,
like that.
When did you get married? What video game came out when you got married?
That's kind of tricky because I wasn't really paying as close attention to new releases at that juncture.
So you don't like video games that much?
Wow.
Got it. I asked Twitter for some suggestions for topics. I specifically asked for Mario stuff. We can talk about other stuff too, but why don't we start? Because since we're all Mario experts, why don't we dive into some Mario topics?
Some of us more than others.
Why don't we jump into some Mario shit? Do either of you have one you want to start with?
I will say it's a very quick thing.
Yeah, what's up?
One of the people who replied to the tweet asked us our opinions on Waluigi Go. And frankly, I think it's kind of derivative of the Niantic Pokemon game. If you're gonna go, and also if you're gonna go around and capture different Waluigis, they didn't even use different renders. It's just the same one. Like, come on.
Well, like in their defense, like, if you get the ultra rare Waluigi, there's kind of an aura around him, a radiant glow, but that's about it.
I'm going to admit I'm not familiar with the bit here. What are you talking about? I didn't look at the replies.
We're making up a version of Pokemon
you're
Go.
Just making one up. No, I got that. I thought you were like making fun of somebody's typo or something. Like they wrote Waluigi Go.
No, they were like, talk about Waluigi Go. So I'm like, Waluigi Go.
Okay, that's the bit. Got it. All
that's
right.
the bit.
I would play Waluigi Go, actually.
But that's my thing. It's like it's so lazy. It's just the same render of Waluigi in different places.
What would you use to catch him, you think? What would be like the Pokeball equivalent?
Tennis ball.
Yeah.
Ooh, tennis ball. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. How about a not fucking bit one this time? Anyone? Maybe we should take this seriously.
David, that's gonna be you.
My favorite suggestion was talking about just how the Mario franchise has gotten more strictly on model over time. Because, back in the old days, like, say, Mario 3, Mario World, they played a little bit faster and loose, especially like when they licensed the property out to, Americans to handle it. They didn't have all the harsh rules about how you represent everything.
Well, look what happened as a result, though. Now I can't blame them now for like being strict, because look at how he bastardized all their fucking shit with the cartoons and the movie. It. How about that new movie, guys? How do we think?
I'm very fearful. I'm like,
it's gonna be dog shit.
The most on model thing. And it's gonna be, yeah.
At best,
This is the
it'll be
most
inoffensive.
on model, and yet still betray the spirit of it. It's gonna be both. It's gonna be bland in its character choice, but it's going to be a betrayal. I guarantee it. So for me, it's like I would love for them to be a little more adventurous. I would have loved to see that Mario Archie comic. I think that would have been a lot of fun. But I can't blame them for having a little bit of quality control. I do wish they would let their own spin-off games have a little more freedom. Paper Mario! Even though I know you're... Oh, actually, it's the third best video game of all time, Origami King. I don't care. I want a real Paper Mario. Although, Elvis, you liked Origami King, too, so...
It came around for me, yeah. The beginning is one of the worst beginnings of any video game I've ever played, though.
See, I've played a lot more video games, so my bar is a lot lower.
That's true. Hearing that and David's reaction, I will probably like it, but that means I don't want to play it to like give David like the satisfaction of being right.
Yeah. You gotta wait until I'm not paying attention.
Maybe I'll play it one day, but it's
what you should do. Just definitely play it. Like, get a used copy so Nintendo doesn't get any money out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't support them on it. But kidding aside, I maybe one day, but I rarely play that many video games as it is, so it's like it's probably not going to happen if I'm being totally honest. Maybe down the line if I'm like old and like I should play all the Switch games I missed. It's like, well, I guess even then maybe I wouldn't play Origami King. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on their sort of protectiveness of the brand?
Well, this is a tangent, but what I would probably want to go into is like asking you, what is your wish list for the Paper Mario that you would want? Because I know you want like something in the vein of Thousand Year Door or the original Paper Mario, but what defines that for you?
Okay, yeah, I think we talked about this before. What defines it for me is, I think, if I have to think about like what made the other ones not work, and it's really the gameplay, right? Like, I utterly adore Paper Mario's combat. I think it's like, I think Mario RPG. You made a really. By the way, check out a video David did. It's he ranked every Mario RPG, and I thought it was really good. Go watch it on his. He has a YouTube channel. He didn't mention Mewed, just Mewed, right? Yeah. Go watch that. But I agree. I think it was you who made the point that like Mario RPG's battle system feels a lot less solid, right? Like a little more just random numbers, just like an old school Final Fantasy. Even the timed hits don't feel that good. Whereas in Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door, the combat feels, and it feels even better in 2, right? Like they have the appeal system and whatever. So it feels good to control. Doing the timed hits and the hammer and stuff. That alone is fun. The fact that it's simple numbers and yet still offers a lot of strategy with a huge variety of enemies and badges. The badge system is just incredible. Talking about all this, that's what I love about Paper Mario. If it was just about having a fun story or fun characters, yes, you can argue that a lot of the other spin-offs accomplish that, or they're funny or whatever, but for me, it is absolutely that core gameplay. I would have loved to see a Paper Mario that was next gen, like Switch level graphics. Like I see like Color Splash, Origami King, like they look gorgeous. I would love to see the battle system in that style, or not style, but sort of level of quality. And then on top of that, even more interesting refinements of the battle system. Like imagine from 1 to 2's battle system, 2 to 3's battle system would have been probably even more interesting. And yet without going into like Mario and Luigi territory, where it gets just too much, I think.
Right. Well, of course, the test here is you have to play Bug Fables and see, is it really just the gameplay that keeps you hooked? Because
okay.
I tried Bug Fables, and like the worst type of gamer there is, like I appreciated all the work that was in there, but I slid off it. It didn't grab me. Even though, if anything, like, this is the shittiest thing to say because Paper Mario fans have been complaining forever. It's like, oh, we want something that's the old. It felt too, like, I don't want to say derivative because they definitely made their own thing with it. But and the kind of, when I realized that, I was like, you know what? Let me give Origami King a try. Because I think the thing that's more important to me, having kind of been through this experience now with Paper Mario, is the exploration and just like the branching out and filling in the world of, you know, the Mario universe, which is why we all fell in love with, you know, the early RPGs, because, you know, us fan fiction kids, that's our shit. That's where we went.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as the Paper Mario series went on, like, they went too far with Super Paper Mario leading into fanfic territory. I still like a lot of things about that game, but it's definitely, it crossed a threshold, I think. So it made sense to pull back, but they pulled back way too much, where it's like none of that energy. And Origami King feels like it's the first time we've taken a step back towards that. And like the combat sucks ass, and I want that back. But just going based on the combat, like I Bug Fables, I fell off of it. It didn't grab me. Granted, I'm a terrible gamer who never plays anything that's not a fucking Mario game or a Zelda game. But there you go.
I think that's a very valid point. I haven't played Bug Fables. I may really like Bug Fables. I don't know. You know me, I'm a big, you know, board gamey guy. So I like, you know, the sort of statistics and all that stuff. That really resonates with me. I mentioned that the gameplay is the most important. I still think that's true for me. But obviously, what is right behind it is wonderful new Mario characters, new, you know, like you said, sort of deepening and enriching the lore and the world. Having cool bosses, having cool set pieces, and things like that. And I think part of what makes the new games even more sort of alienating for me is I think the first two games do paper just enough, and I hate that they're literally paper now. Like, for me, I was always like, I liked imagining Paper Mario as, oh no, it's Mario. It's the same as Mario. Now, obviously, with Paper Jam and all this stuff, okay, it's established that it's a separate canon, and they're literally paper or whatever in a storybook, which I don't like at all. Now, you could argue, though, that since Princess Peach exists and Mario exists both in real Mario and Paper Mario, then that means, let's say, Goombella could exist in the Mario form just as a not paper version. Yeah. Would that be fair to say? I think that's fair to say, right? Like,
I mean, that's kind of the implication, but there's also just kind of this.
Well, yeah, Star Spirits. The Star Spirits are in Mario Party 5, and those are not paper. Yeah. So I would say that you could theoretically have non-paper versions of all the paper characters, but
that's certainly the point of Paper Jam, right? That there's just a duplicate paper partner for every character.
Well, yeah, right? Yeah, like Bowser. And is there a Bowser Jr.? Is Paper Bowser Jr.?
Yeah, Bowser Jr. and Paper Bowser Jr. become best friends, and it's actually kind of cute.
Okay. So yeah, that absolutely makes the standard that, yeah, there's got to be a non-paper version of all the Paper Mario characters.
The problem is like that all these tertiary RPG characters, like the game didn't get to explore like, establishing them. Like even with like the Koopalings, it's like, well, don't we have paper versions? And they just kind of like, oh, they're busy doing something off screen. Don't worry about it.
No, great.
I would tie all this in. Like basically, what I kind of hear from you is that, you know, there's a little frustration that Nintendo, it has to be super sterile with what they'll allow them to do in terms of like expanding the world, building things up, and that goes hand in hand with monitoring the brand so much. Even though the old days, the Wild West, like the 90s for the Mario brand, was a complete mess and a joke sometimes, it still allowed for them to get wild and experimental with it and to do things that did inspire us as kids to write fan fiction.
See, I didn't grow up with the cartoons at all, so I completely don't have any positive feelings towards the cartoons at all. Like, to me, those are just weird oddities. I'm like, those shouldn't have been made. I don't think those should have been made. And the fact that all you losers were calling him, like, Cootie Pie and Big Mouth, I was like, whenever I read that shit, because for those of you who aren't aware, in the Mario cartoons, the Koopalings have different names. They're not called Wendy and Iggy. They're called Cutie Pie, Big Mouth, and when I read fan fiction, they called them those names. I thought it was the stupidest shit ever. I was like, that's not their names. Their names are, from the games. So for me,
which were also just invented by some random American translator too.
Yeah, I was like, fuck the cartoons influence. I think it was only negative for not only for the canon but for the Mario fanon as well.
Well, the thing is, just like the Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door got in during the sweet spot window where things were still a little loose, but they were trying much more to like localize things, trying to get both sides of the ocean on the same page in terms of the brand, versus like say Sonic the Hedgehog, where there's been 20 different canons or so far, because like every time Sega licensed it out, they maybe give you some rules, but the things got wildly different interpretations.
I think we can call this time frame the Waluigi window, because only during that period of time would Nintendo have let a secondary company come up with such a strange but seemingly integral character to the core cast.
But they don't let them in the main games. It's like,
exactly.
You stay in the yard.
You
stay in the yard, Waluigi.
But they still, I think they wouldn't let that happen at all now. Like, we want to come up with this guy, Waluigi. And it's like, no, you can't do that. But like back then, during the Waluigi window, it's like, yeah, it's fine. He's just not in the main games. And now it's a problem because like everybody loves him. They have this Niantic Pokemon Go version game of him that they want to make.
Yeah. I never thought about the Waluigi window, but you're absolutely right. At the same time, I don't need more Waluigi-esque characters in the main part.
No, definitely not.
Please not. I instead would welcome, and maybe this could be a topic. We've talked about this before, but like bringing back old characters like Pauline. Pauline is now in the Mario Kart Tour and Mario Tennis, and I would welcome more returns of old characters. So, what would be your wish lists for characters that would return to the canon? For me, I've mentioned Wart many times. I think Wart would be great. Captain Syrup would be a fun, another female character to the roster.
Oh yeah.
I'll stick with those two for now. I'll let you guys go. What are some characters that you would?
You've already mentioned the big ones, but like in terms of the like more maybe the less good picks that I would still be very pleased with. I want to see Tatanga come back again.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I don't like Stanley the Bugman from Donkey Kong 3, but I would think it would be hilarious if he did come back.
That's a less good pick, but I feel the same way. It'd be really funny.
And I think that even though this character never appeared in any of the stateside games, like Wanda from Mario and Wario is a character that I think is interesting, and like the fanfic I'm working on currently utilizes her and is trying to just mash a lot of disparate lore down into something more concrete, and that excites me about like trying to flesh out characters that are otherwise neglected.
And that's why you play all these shitty ones, right? Because for those of you who aren't aware, David plays all the Mario games. Well,
right now I'm
all of them, but 90% of them.
Right now I'm playing Mario versus Donkey Kong on the GBA, which is okay. I would give it a 5 out of 10, but I'm gonna 100% it.
Oh god. Okay.
He's going to 100%.
You don't have to. You can just beat it.
Yeah, I could, but there's gold stars, and I want to get all the gold stars.
God, I don't like you. All right, Elvis, how about you?
I mean, you named all the big ones. I could say I could pull 1,000 from Mario RPG, of course.
Let's say you had to
But I think
pick one from our RPG.
one from Mario RPG, and it's not the one that I want to pick. I'm gonna choose Croco. I think Croco would be
That's a good choice.
a great fit. I mean, Malo too. I kind of, even though everybody's like Gino in Smash and he's the favorite, I think he doesn't need to come back. He came for the thing that was the most important thing. Malo is a great, like, written character and would be nice to see. Like, David, you really outlined this in your ranking video really well. But yeah, I think Croco, like, of just kind of like the smaller characters would be neat. Booster as well, except for the fact that he looks way too much like Wario. But if I had to like limit it to like which one character would I love to see kind of come back in sort of like a boom boom way, I would actually pick Mauser, because great sub boss, would be a great multiplayer character.
Yeah.
Has a very unique, distinct look to them. And like, I would love Wart to come back too, but I think you could more easily bring back Mauser than Wart, because Wart feels like he's got to be the antagonist again. But Mauser could just show up and be working for Bowser, no big deal.
Mauser also has more of a legacy.
He did in the cartoons.
That's true. That's true.
Between like the Nomadamice, the Little Mausers, the Squeaks, the Mouse, all these kind of different variations on this idea of like a tinier version of Mauser. Like he has a legacy.
Yeah, for sure. No, Mauser's he would be on my list too. And he gets mentioned a lot whenever I ask people this question. Well, people who care about this sort of thing. I would argue that Wart seems easier to fit in like a party game, because like think about Mario Kart, there's like heavy tier, right? Heavy tier drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just like another Bowser. I mean, he looks very different, which I like, but he would just be, Mauser, since there is no character that kind of even remotely looks like Mauser in the 3D space, it would be, I think, a little trickier. I mean, they could do it, obviously, if they really wanted to.
Be funny if they just threw some sunglasses on a Skip Squeak from 3D World and like, there you go. Another character, more modern. And I am so upset this guy has never been a multiplayer character, is Egad.
Oh, yeah.
Egad should be in Mario Kart.
He did get to be in like Mario Kart DS, didn't he?
I don't think he did. I checked this like a year ago, because we have this conversation all the time.
Somebody Google this. Let's prove David wrong. I don't think he's been playable.
It's probable. Like I do like, and I play all the Mario games with stories, and I'm very bad about playing the sports spin-offs or the minigame spin-offs, just because there's usually very minimal story. I want the lore. That's why I'm here.
But I would argue, I'm sure there's some lore in the party games you're missing out on.
Yeah, I've in my various researches, I've stumbled across things. I'm like, man, I should play these now. But also, there's nothing lonelier, I know this from experience, than trying to play a Mario Party game by yourself to completion.
Even Max is like, I'm not gonna play that with you.
Right now, Max is playing through Mario 3, and that's a joy to watch. I just know the game so intimately that seeing it through fresh eyes is nice.
I'll probably do that for my...
Even Max has played Mario 3.
Bitch, I've played Mario 3. Has he beaten Mario 3?
He's working on
it. Then I'm good. I'll beat it in a fucking day. For those of you who aren't aware, Mario 3 is one of the Mario games I just never beat. I believe I got up to Skyland, and then I never got past that as a kid. So at some point, I would like to do a stream where you can do it in one stream, right? Play it all the way through.
It'd be a long stream, because again, I think that if you're not incompetent at the game, you're going to probably be looking at about 3 hours playing through it without warps.
Oh, 3 hours is not that long at all. I mean, we've done 24-hour streams, but okay.
Yeah, but I also kind of for your Mario 1 playthrough, I figured you'd have a much easier time, so my estimate might not be that accurate.
I'm gonna say, if you say 3 hours, I'll say it'll take maybe 6 hours then. Because how long did the Mario one take?
I lost count, but it was a day. It was a fun day of watching.
It wasn't a whole day. How long?
It was a week.
It was just a
pure
month.
suffering.
Torturous. You fucking asshole. Let me see how long.
It wasn't a day, but it took up the major parts of a day. So.
Oh, it was. Oh God, it took that long? That's embarrassing. Oh God, then never mind. It's gonna take like 9 hours to beat fucking Mario 3. Well, hold on, because
and after that you got to do Sunshine,
that's
which will take a
not
week.
happening on stream. I will say though, with originally the intent was to beat it without warps, without continues, at all. And that's why it actually took like a while. Because if the thing had been from the beginning to allow continues, then yeah, I actually would have beaten it in a pretty short amount of time. But
yeah, because like me and your other friends were just gatekeeping you, being like, well, if you want to have the real experience, you gotta play it all like a badass.
But I think didn't I get to like what level did I get to in one go? Like was it 7-3 or
either World 6 or World 7?
No, it was World 7 at
was,
least.
I think
it wasn't 8 then. I didn't see any of 8. But I think I got to like 7-4 in one shot, and that loss was so crippling. I was like, I can't. I mean,
like, if you're normally like playing this, like, you know, in a non-stream, you know, gravity chamber environment, then you would have the opportunity of like, okay, I can take a break, I can walk away, I can come back to it after I'm refreshed, and then, you know, and not feel quite so devastating.
I think it was okay because it turned 8. The World 8 turned out to be a huge, like, I had to play that a lot. And so I think I think it worked out. I think it was actually a good idea to not allow continues because it let me play like the first 7 worlds a lot, and I actually got very familiar, and I got very good at them. So by the time I got to 8, it felt earned that I could continue from that point because World 8 is hard. It's very hard. I mean, for me, I know for you it's not, but for me, if you know who had never played it ever as a kid, it was a lot. But it was very satisfying actually to finally beat that game. So 3. I don't want to guess how long it's going to take because it's probably going to take longer. But
now the upside to 3 is that since the game does give you continues just built in, that really it's just kind of a matter of attrition.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, oh, you got to start all the way back at square one if you flub it in Skyland or something.
Sure.
You know, it just kind of comes down to if you can get far enough to beat a castle, then you get a shortcut, and it'll be easier to get up to the end.
Are the shortcuts permanent?
You have infinite continues, but the warp whistles kind of function as a replacement for battery saving that you'd get in like the All Stars versions. Like, okay, if you want to get out back to where you were, you get to a point where you've learned from the schoolyard that you can get the warp whistle here, here, and here, and you can get there within a couple minutes.
And when you beat a castle, do those stay like broken even when you die? Like game over?
Yeah, in Mario 3, if you game over after beating a castle, it stays down, and there's usually a wall that crumbles with the castle that will give you access. Like basically, you skip like 3 or 4 levels preceding that.
I'll have to do this soonish.
Yeah, Mario 3 is more forgiving than the original, so.
Yeah, it's why I haven't beaten it. I've beaten 2. I've beaten World all the way. But 3 I just never did. It was too hard for me as a kid, and I wasn't a hardcore gamer enough to play it through. Elvis, did you see any topics on the Twitter thread you wanted to cover?
No, I thought they were all bad.
I mean, that's fine.
Although this conversation does kind of make me like we know what your biggest Mario blind spot is.
Oh yeah, let's go into this. Yeah,
mine is definitely 3D World, but that will soon be remedied.
Ooh, with Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, that looks very fun.
Looks so good.
We it seems like we have a new collectible to consider. Apparently, there are cat shines now to rival Shine Sprites, Power Stars, and Power Moons, which is
that's right.
Very interesting.
Yo, Bowser's
Um,
new rock theme when he like transformed. Yo, that shit was so good, dog. Oh man.
I like that Bowser Jr. is going to be your companion because Bowser Jr. has gotten progressively better representation over
Yeah.
time. Because I did not like that character when he was introduced, and I warmed up to it.
Yeah,
Same.
I'm the same way. I didn't play Sunshine, so when this little shithead started appearing, like, who the fuck is this? Like, first off, we have Koopalings. Secondly, we have Baby Bowser. What's Bowser Jr.? It was very confusing to me, and I was like, oh, he's from the Sunshine. What's your blind spot? Well, do you have a blind spot, David? At this point, what's a blind spot? Do you
Well, like I said
consider for yourself?
earlier, like the sports games is like the spin-offs is going to be kind of my thing because like I'm a lonely boy
Mm,
and people don't want to play video games with me,
mm,
so I just focus on stuff that has story content. And I bought back in the N64 days. I had a choice between Smash Brothers and Paper Mario and Mario Party, and I bought Mario Party first, and I've been bitter about it ever since.
yeah, it wasn't even
Ooh.
two. Mario Party.
It was Mario Party
Oh.
1, and it was
That's a bad.
that
That's
was
a
rough.
bad choice.
But also just like I have a general apathy for sports in general, so it's hard for me to get behind like a sports title unless there's a lot of fantasy bullshit kind of sugarcoating it to make it go down easier.
Mm.
I'm interested in Mario Tennis Aces because it seems like there's, you know, some fantasy story bullshit going on, but it's Elvis, I think you said there's a surprising amount, but I'm kind of imagining it's still pretty like light and superficial.
Yeah, it kind of hits the moment, like certainly at the beginning of the game, where you're like, "Whoa, they're doing this." It feels pretty audacious for modern Mario, but by the end of the game, you're like, "This is pretty limited in what they're actually offering as a game." So,
Do we care about Mario Tennis Aces spoilers, David? Do you not want to be spoiled?
I mean, I've already read
Oh,
the
I
wiki
mean,
article because I need to know.
I would like to hear what you're talking about, and I don't think anyone listening to this actually cares about spoilers for the story mode in Mario Tennis Aces. If you do, I don't know, skip ahead. But otherwise, I would like to hear what you're talking about.
well, I just mean like when at the beginning of the game, like Wario and Waluigi show up like possessed zombies to hell,
Oh, okay.
dressed like mummies or some shit, and then
Uh-huh.
they possess Luigi, and he kind of becomes the main bad guy of the game. Uh,
Okay.
until the end, and then Bowser takes over, of course. So but at the beginning, it's just like, oh, we're trying to do some stuff with this game. Except they just don't. Ultimately, they just try. They don't actually succeed.
Do they ever explain why they were possessed?
It's like a demon tennis racket, of course.
Mm.
Like the force of is like called like Lucian or something, or Lucius. One of those
Okay.
generic
And there-
evil
there's-
names.
And there's a character named, there's another tennis racket I think named Aster, which annoyed me because I was going to name a fanfic character Aster, and this was already taken. And it's a tennis racket. I can't use that.
Aster and Lucius. Somebody double check this for me. And it's like a good tennis racket versus an evil tennis racket.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's cute.
It's I mean, like for a Mario tennis game, like that's what you would expect. That's good.
I was going to bring up the Game Boy Color Mario Tennis and Mario Golf, which when I did my Mario RPG ranking, there was a few people who jumped in being like, "Hey, why didn't you cover Mario Tennis and Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color?" And I was like, "Shit, I should have."
Those are one player too, right? You have no
But-
excuse.
Biggest blind spot.
Yeah, those games are really just about a sports anime style storyline of like, I'm gonna be the best, and there's not really much to them beyond that apart from after you get to be the best, you can go to the Mushroom Kingdom and then get totally destroyed by the Mario characters who are preternaturally amazing at both golf and tennis.
So in the pre-game, it's all those regular just ass human characters, right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's just like you're just a dude or a girl, and like you want to be good at a thing, so you go to an academy dedicated to being the best at tennis or whatever, and you train for like 20 hours and do go to countless tournaments and grind it out.
Are you taught
and
by Mario
Mario's just-
characters?
No, the Mario characters don't show up until the post game after you win like the world championship.
Whoa, I didn't know this. I know everyone who plays these games goes on, and especially the tennis ones, they go on and on about these games. I did not realize this is just like a fucking OC human game for like 90% of it, and then Mario shows up at the end.
It's like, that's what I want to happen to me in real life.
Yeah.
Please, Mario, my lord, take me.
Or just like any like normal game. It's like, yeah, the Ubisoft game was whatever, but at the end when Mario shows up, that's when I really got into it.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 was really boring, but then when you get the Mario, every video game should have a Mario post game. That's what I've decided now.
Assassin's Creed Mushroom Kingdom.
That would be fucking great. One day we'll get that Mario Muso game. Mario Warriors, which... Oh, wait. David, were you there for that? Me and Elvis, like, went through, like, which characters would be in a Mario Muso game.
Like, I talked to you about it before, but I think that was a separate conversation. Like, we kind of went through, like, oh, the Fire Mario could be his own separate kind of character with moveset, etc. It's kind of Muso games are kind of a weird fit for Mario, just because, like, Mario doesn't normally wreck like that many minions, but it would still be like lots of fan service just to see happen.
So I have the list still. I'm gonna go through it. We went. I forgot how I think we based it off like Hyrule Warriors, how many there were, and so we settled. We had to cut it down to 29. And I want to hear your thoughts. So it's Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Wario,
Naturally.
Rosalina, Bowser Jr., Donkey Kong, Kamek, Roy, Wendy, Lemmy. Oh, did we not do all? No, we did do all the Koopalings, looks like. Roy, Wendy, Lemmy, Birdo, Wart, Diddy, Toadette / Peachette, Gino, Vivian, Tatanga, Daisy, Fawful, Mallow, Waluigi, Pauline, Larry, Ludwig, Iggy, Morton. We wanted to kind of cover several bases with it.
Those are all very solid picks.
There was a conversation where we were like, are we gonna let in Waluigi and Daisy? And then then I was like, no, fuck Waluigi. Daisy's cool. She can be in. And then we were eventually, we should have Waluigi in. And that was why the Koopalings were broken up too. You were like, let's be like the Olympics game and be weird and only have a couple.
Because like Roy's,
and I'm like, that's so.
Like Roy's the heavy. Yeah, Wendy has her cool shit. Lemmy's the small one, and it's like we don't need more of them. Yeah, but no, they would have all of them, like for sure. Any you think we missed?
I think that the only thing you could have like done otherwise that wouldn't be like lesser choices would be like, oh, just more iterations of Mario. Like, oh, you can have a separate Paper Mario version. But I think that having the wider variety of characters is more so what I as a fan would prefer. But I think that these games tend to have like, oh, we need to have the obvious nostalgia bait in there, like really telegraph it.
Well, that's why Hyrule Warriors is fun though, because they have a lot of just fucking. You can tell they're just fans, right? Like there are some obscure picks instead of just like Fire Emblem Warriors has the opposite problem. It's only the popular characters, which sucks because there's such a rich history of the games. Whereas Hyrule Warriors, there's a good mix. It's like you got your obvious ones from Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, but then you have like what's her face from
Marin?
Yeah, Marin, and like just like the ones that you care about. I'm not a Zelda person, but like it was also interesting having the conversation of like which ones work in a Muso standpoint though. Like out of all the Paper Mario character partners, we were like, I think Vivian works the best because she has like flame base and can drop down, drop up. Goombella, I love Goombella, but she's not going to work as a Muso character.
Right. She's the only other one that has the same sort of footprint of like iconography. But Vivian is more so the interesting moveset.
Yeah, exactly.
As a side note for Hyrule Warriors, I'm still bitter that we didn't get Vaati in DLC because I care a little too much about
Vaati. Is the purple Link?
He's a little Minish guy who turns into kind of an orb of tentacles of darkness, and I'm very fond of him just as an alternative to Ganon, and he is basically not even a character.
But is he not a purple Link? Am I thinking of a different guy?
He like his like base form, like he turns himself into a quote unquote like sorcerer.
Yeah, this is the purple Link.
That he's kind of.
I looked.
It's not like Purple Link is like, like Four Swords, kind of a separate entity.
You're telling me, I'm putting in the Discord, you're telling me this guy isn't just like a goth purple Link?
Yeah, but you also have, like, in the Four Swords game, just a Link that is
I'm not
purple,
saying,
so
I'm
that's
not
the
saying
distinction.
he's literally purple Link. I'm making fun of him. I think he just looks like a purple Link.
Yeah, but I really like him. He's got a cape. It's cool.
Is he not in the game? I thought, oh, wait, is it Ravio is in the game?
Ravio is in Hyrule Warriors, and he is also a purple guy, but he's a bunny
Who the
purple
fuck was
guy.
Ravio? Was that from Link Between Worlds?
Link Between Worlds. Yeah, he's the guy who rents you stuff, and like he's kind of a scumbag, and I like him.
Okay, I mixed these two up.
See, that's why we need to have Nabbit in our Mario Muso game. So we have a purple scumbag rabbit guy.
So, going back to like you mentioned before, Elvis, like bringing back Croco, like Nabbit kind of fills that void right now, but Croco's more of the Wario kind of like edge to him, like the whole like I actually like don't care about your feelings. I'm gonna mug you, stab you to death. It's fine.
Nabbit's like a skull kid. He's like a mischievous little scamp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know we could keep talking about Mario, but I do like to give the guests a chance, if either of you would like, to bring up a topic of your choice and or a question you want to ask, if you have anything. If not, let's just keep talking about Mario. But I'm letting you have the chance now.
Well, I already asked about the theme song.
You want to do a theme song?
No, I already asked why you didn't have one. So I feel like my question has been used.
If you have another one, feel free. David, do you have anything you want to bring up?
I want to talk about Mario.
Okay, fine. We'll talk about Mario. Elvis, last chance. Anything not Mario?
Why haven't you played Sonic Adventure 2?
All right, let's talk tomorrow. I'll talk about Mario.
I'm on his side now. I'm spending my question on that.
Sonic Adventure 2? Why haven't I played it? Because there's 1 million better games I can be playing.
It is an important part of your heritage.
That's impossible.
It is
It's
not part of my
mathematically
heritage
impossible.
at all. What heritage? I am not a Sonic fan.
When you married your wife, you became a Sonic fan.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's actually true. Yeah, it's like what I was gonna say, like Judaism. Yeah, kind of like, oh yeah, you marry into a Jewish family. All right, yeah, marry into a Sonic family.
It is her Bible.
Okay. I mean, I will play it one day, but it bothers me that I haven't played the first one. But people say I don't need to play the first one.
Yeah,
No, you need to play the first one.
I love both of them. I do think that like you probably won't lose much of anything skipping to Sonic Adventure 2. I also have no doubt that you'll hate it, but I also want you to play it.
See, what I'm really interested in, though, is I want to hear the things you do like about it.
Interesting.
Because invariably, there will be some things you're like, yeah, this worked for me. The whole game I hated, but this I liked.
No, I can't wait to fucking roast that game to bits, like, when I do play it, but...
The Sonic fan base is kind of barometer for what is good and bad is so wide that, like, Sonic Adventure 2 can be heralded as just enshrined as perfect, even though it very clearly is, at best, a flawed gem.
Let me ask you this. I don't think Elvis can answer this question, but David, I know you can be objective about this. Discard your actual feelings about the game. Out of 10, what does the game deserve as a game?
Now, am I considering this just like in our current climate, or am I considering this in terms of its historical climate?
Is it really going to change that much?
I think that if I'm going to consider it like when it came out, I can be a lot more charitable with it. Because like it was like,
all right, yeah.
Sonic
Give
Adventures.
me the answer when it came out, and now.
When it came out, I probably would say that it gets a 9. Now it's going to be closer to a 7 if you're like comparing it.
It really deserves a 9.
Like,
so it's actually
I would,
good.
Okay,
then.
like listen, I am notoriously harsh about Mario Sunshine. I think that Sonic Adventure 2 is like 1,000 times better than Mario Sunshine.
What would you give Sunshine?
Easily.
What would you give Sunshine out of 10?
Like in terms of like my video game geek account, I give it a 7. But if I'm in a bad mood, I'd give it like a 5.
I need to play this stupid fucking game. Oh man, I'm gonna hate it. I think.
It depends. 'Cause I've talked to a lot of people who adore Sunshine, and a lot of it comes down just to the fact that it's a really nice game just to inhabit, to just kind of like it has that whole vacation vibe to it. And if you're just like going around like in early people used to play Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, you're just messing around. You're just like exploring. You're not trying to get the objectives because the thing is like the moment you try to 100% Sunshine or you try to play it, seriously, a lot of the fun gets sucked out of it. And I think that casual play is the best way to experience Sunshine.
So just get to the end, basically.
Like
it's.
Go ahead.
Sorry, keep going.
In terms of like just getting to the end, like even like just on a minimal run, there's still going to be a lot of really annoying sections. But definitely do not do the blue coins. Do not even think about doing the blue coins.
Wow.
It's impossible to do the blue coins without a guide, essentially.
So the blue coins, are they just scattered throughout the whole game, or are they levels?
It's like this sort of thing. There's a lot of YouTube videos kind of dig into like why this was really bad design, but it's sort of a thing like, okay, to finish the game, all you really need to do is get up to like the 7th shine sprite of each level and beat Bowser Jr.
Well, that's the problem, because like you're saying, the best way to enjoy this game is casually, and I agree, because there's so many great things about like the environment, the creativity, but they designed it like so gracelessly because it requires you to get specific shines, which means you have to do certain things. It's not like how they corrected this behavior come Mario Odyssey, where it's like you just need a certain amount. So if you ever get stuck or this is bullshit, you don't have to worry about it. The design is bad. It's not just, oh, it's bad because I'm a serious player and I like to collect everything. They designed it poorly.
Yeah.
Like to the point where when I was a kid and I was first playing it, I had collected like 90 shines and didn't unlock the last world because I just completely missed the entrance to Serena Beach, the hotel level, because it was like, oh, I didn't just completely ignored that. And because of that, like I had collected so many shines, but the game was still gatekept for me because you have to collect specific things. And it's a lot of little choices like that that make it such a, like, it's like trying to not be fun. It's so annoying because Mario is so good at being fun. And it's like, hey, let's just do everything we can to obfuscate the fun in this game.
So the game does not tell you need these specific shines.
No.
Wow.
Right. Like basically, if they had done it like every other 3D Mario game where you just need a certain number of the collectible, then it would have been great, because the blue coins are just a thing. Like if you find them in the environment and you get 10 blue coins, you can trade them in for a shine sprite. But the problem is that since the actual way to progress is just beating Bowser Jr. in each level, it's irrelevant. The blue coins only matter if you are going for 100% completion, which is miserable.
And so the blue coins are just in the hole. They're just scattered throughout the entire game. It's like a
they're fun to find.
Koroks from
basically.
Breath of the Wild.
They're very fun to find.
You can always find a Korok seed at any point during the game, though. But you have to be in a specific episode of the level to pick up this blue coin.
Can you miss them? Can you permanently miss them?
Yes! Or you can't permanently miss them, no.
Then what do you mean by episodes?
Okay, it's like, so, like in Mario 64, like you say, you pick a star, and sometimes there's some elements of the level that are different.
Oh, I see. Levels, basically. Like,
yeah.
Oh, God. Oh.
It's like you have to go to Dire Doc's 5th star to find the blue coin in the corner of this room.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and if you go any other time, you'll never see it. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's terrible. Maybe I just won't ever play this game, honestly. Like, it just seems so... Everything I hear about it... Like, Suha played it recently, our friend Suha, and she couldn't make it through, and she never played it. That seemed like a pretty good gauge for me of how bad this game is. Because she loved, like, 64. She played it all the way through, and Galaxy and shit.
They're good games.
Yeah, no, that's... So then why do people tell me to play Sunshine?
It's part of your heritage.
I don't care. I don't care, Dad. I'm not going to play it. Oh, probably
The
play
other
it
the
one
other
day.
problem with the blue coins too is it's clearly a band-aid for the lack of time they had on the game, because it like what hides 20 shines or something.
Mm.
That's ridiculous. There's so much game that's not in there.
You literally only need to beat Bowser Jr. in a level, and then you get to move on. That's it.
There's this element where like if you have a certain number of shine sprites, then you can unlock a new nozzle, or there'll be an event in the plaza. The problem with that is just that naturally getting enough shine sprites to beat Bowser Jr. will get you to that point anyway.
Mm.
So all of the tertiary shine sprites, like you find a secret area and you like get a shine sprite for doing a slide or doing that damn pachinko machine or whatever. It doesn't matter unless it's actually on the way to Bowser Jr.
So the shine sprites only matter then. Oh, a lot of them only matter if you want 100% the game.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible. Oh my god. I did not read. I thought it was like, like 64 Odyssey. You could collect a certain amount. That's terrible. Wow. Okay.
I consider it the worst mainline Mario game, and the only ones that are really competition in my eyes are the first New Super Mario Brothers DS, because I think that one has very terrible game feel.
New Super Mario Brothers?
But New Super Mario Bros. 2 is way better.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the New Super Mario Brothers, right?
New Super Mario Brothers on a Nintendo DS.
Yeah, that one was bad. I couldn't even get through it. That had mini mushrooms, right?
You couldn't really get through Mario 3 either, maybe.
Ha! Ho ho! I'm fucking you! I'm fucking you so much. I'm fucking so much for playing in my fuck. Did you play New Super Mario Brothers 2?
Me, no.
David?
You're talking to me or Elvis? I absolutely.
Elvis, I know
100%
Elvis didn't play it. Only you would play it.
Well, he said it was good.
Wait, did you play it?
No, I was joking.
Yeah, he was joking.
Okay, I took it as sincere because I actually legitimately enjoyed that game.
That's the coin one, right?
Yeah, that one. It has the gimmick of like, we're going to give you 1 billion coins. It's a stupid gimmick, but the game is still fun.
Huh.
Did you collect 1 million coins?
No.
Wait.
Okay, so you never saw the 100% ending with the true title screen.
I've seen screenshots of it. It's just there's coins on the title screen. I'm not going to kill myself over it.
But you haven't seen it in person. It could be different.
Wait, you just said you were 100%ing like what Mario and Donkey Kong tipping stars or whatever, but you won't do a mainline Mario.
I like actually sat down and like tried to figure out what I would materially have to do to get that title screen, and what it wound up being is grinding out coins for literally hours, because even though the game showers you with coins, like the actual requirement for it is so absurd that you just like, even just like, I got all the star coins in the game, I played all the levels through like as both Mario and Luigi, and still I was like only 1/10 of the way there.
How many coins does the game require you to get the title screen?
I'm gonna have to look it up because I think it's more than 1 million, but I could be wrong.
Well, there's one for 1 million. I do know this. You get a new title screen for collecting 1 million coins, and then there's a true final title screen if you collect 9,999,999 coins.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking about.
Okay, and how many did you get?
Did you get the original one?
I should have got. I think I got the 1 million one. I just know that there was like a upper one, like the final one, which is like, okay, no, I cannot do this. It would just be,
you're a quitter.
Really?
Honestly, I can't believe you got the 1 million coin one.
That was the most like angry I've heard. Really? You're calling me a quitter? Give me some examples, David, in your defense to show you're not a quitter, because I know you have them.
I don't know. Like, I've played through all of the Mario RPGs, despite like the ones that are notoriously boring. I considered like Mario Dream Team, and like when the video we mentioned, my ranking, the Dream Team Defense Force came out of nowhere to tell me that no, it's good actually. But the game's like the longest Mario RPG, and I find it intensely boring.
It's so funny. I have that game on my 3DS because I had to buy a new 3DS, and I was like, this one has Mario and Luigi. You know, the silver one with the Mario and Luigi design on it. I don't know if you know it, but there's one that exists anyway, and it came with that game preloaded on it. But I just wanted the design, so I bought it. But I haven't played. I never played Dream Team on it.
Well, it could be that, you're one of the Dream Team Defense Forces. Like, you could give it a shot, and you can come back and be like, David, you're an idiot.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. But I don't like those games enough. I think I'm pretty sure you're right, because I couldn't even finish the third one, which people liked. That one to me I was just bored out of my mind after a certain point. So I don't doubt you in that regard. It reminds me of another game thing where it was like you would need to like grind so much to actually do stuff. Because you bring up a good point. It's like if you beat you basically 100%ed it otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And you still aren't even close, then yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Odyssey getting like I know you did it. And that was did you do it? Did you actually
I got 880. I didn't do the 999.
Yeah, I just got everything. Or I forget, what's the fucking final count? It's like everything you get in the game plus all the ones you buy like normally, but then
it's 820 for before you like just have to just buy the rest.
Yeah, I got 800.
Oh, it's 820. I that's how many I got.
I got 820, and I was like, I'm good. Because I personally felt like I wasn't going to get anything out of just grinding. I started doing it, and I was like, this isn't fun.
But if you don't buy all the costumes, have you really beaten it?
I did buy all the costumes when I played. So that to me was like worth it. I was like, okay, instead of doing this moon grinding, I bought... Now, I know there are new costumes now. I'm just going to ignore those. But the ones, like when I was playing, I bought every single one in the store. So that to me was enough.
They did make coin grinding a lot more fun with the Balloon World, though.
Yes.
I mean, I would have loved, some DLC, right? Some DLC levels, some challenges or something. Maybe drum up some more replay. That could have been fun.
I watched a video. I think it was a video. Maybe it was a tweet storm. Who knows? When you're looking at stuff on the internet these days. That brought up a really good point why there's no DLC for Odyssey. And it's because most people who bought the game didn't finish it. And there's still so much content that they didn't do. So why would we create more content that they're not going to play?
Because people did. It's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. You could argue the exact same thing about Breath of the Wild.
That's true. Breath of the Wild has an overwhelming amount of content.
I would say Breath of the Wild has way more than Odyssey, and people definitely didn't get all the shrines.
I think that Odyssey has more meaningful content, and even it has less volume.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. It's like you put so much effort into the post-game content, which I appreciate so much with Odyssey. Like, there's a whole 2/3 of the game left, pretty much.
Yeah.
Where it finally so as the designer of that, it's like sad, like just imagining that person or that team of people being like, we put so much work into this and people aren't gonna play it. I mean, majority. Obviously, there are people who did, like all of us.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, there's enough kind of for Odyssey. Obviously, I would have loved more.
It would be interesting to see a poll or like a sort of survey of how many people who played it, not 100% completion, but got to the end of the sort of extra stuff.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, actually, to see the stats on that. Or did you just beat it? If you didn't even beat like the main part, then you got to be ashamed of yourself. But
I mean, yeah, they built in the buy a moon system just to ensure that you did beat it.
Right. Why don't we? I feel like we can talk about Mario forever, and who knows, maybe that'll be a thing. But in the meantime, why don't we sort of end with a final? Let's recommend each other a Mario game. Don't say Mario 3, you motherfuckers. Of that we should play. I'm gonna say for you, David. I gotta think about you, but for Elvis, my recommendation for you will be, I think, even though there's a chance you may not like it, Mario and Rabbids is excellent. And I know it's not necessarily your style of game, but it's really fucking good.
It is surprisingly good because I was expecting the worst.
Yeah, me too. And it ended up being my obsession. Either of you have recommendations? I know it's easier to recommend.
Let me go first.
Yeah.
So David doesn't steal mine. If I can't recommend Banjo-Kazooie, because it's not a Mario game, then I'm going to take the Origami King recommendation.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll get into it, but I would be very curious because it has like some of the best, like, again, kind of that fanficky energy that we loved about the early games. Like, particularly Kamek and Bowser Jr. in this game, the best they've ever been, I think.
Okay. David, you got recommendations for either of us?
I'm thinking. I think with Elvis, like he's played the mainline games apart from 3D World, and he's played pretty much all of the important RPG titles. So that's tricky. You've played Super Paper Mario, I think. At least you watched it, right?
I've played it, yeah.
Yeah, like it's that one's like a crapshoot, but I think it's still interesting.
Yeah, I like Super Paper Mario.
Maybe here's one. Maybe would you recommend him? I mean, it's not 3D World, but Captain Toad.
Oh, Captain Toad's excellent. Yeah,
I haven't played that either, actually.
Yeah. One thing that galls me about Captain Toad, because I bought it once on Wii U, and then I bought it again on Switch because they added a handful more levels, and they had the DLC. And now I have to kind of retcon in my head how the Super Crown works because they included the Super Crown in the DLC for that.
Failure.
Yeah, I did not anticipate that. But overall, it's a very cute game. It has its moments of just like it has lots of little aha moments. It's fluff, but it's good fluff.
I got a recommendation for you, David. And I know you don't like Mario Kart, but I think you would find some value if you just played it casually, Mario Kart Tour on the phone, because control wise, it's very casual. Like it's very easy to control. It's not like regular Mario Kart where you have to be very precise on the controls. It's entirely made to play so like you'll pretty much never run off course. Almost like just you're just sort of like. I mean, if you want to do well, you got to like actually, power slide and do stuff. But the way the game handles is very interesting. But more importantly, I think the unlocks, for you and seeing what they do with like new levels would be fun. I would be curious to see like what you roll, because the game is actually extremely generous in terms of if you're not going for 100% completion of characters, which I would not recommend. I do it, and it costs way too much money. If you're just playing it just for, I want to, maybe see what I get, and make these characters, get cool costumes or whatever. You should try it. I think you should give it a shot. And if you don't like it, who cares? But I would be curious what your thoughts are on it.
Okay. And I think I know what I want to recommend for you, Sungwon. I'm going to say you need to play Elvis's level Goomstar Temple if you have not already.
That's a good.
And
I was going to recommend that for everybody.
I don't know if this is the most recent code, but that's 80T as in Tom, W P as in Paul, 27X F as in Frank.
If you got Mario Maker 2.
Accurate.
I haven't played this level yet, but apparently it's legendary. Go check that out.
6 months of planning and redesigning.
Listen, I will play it. I will. It's just interesting circumstances. Elvis, did you recommend one for David? Or have we all done has the recommendation Triforce been completed?
Did I recommend one for you, David?
It's like, what have I not played? Like, is there a spin-off title you think that I have not tried that you think that I should? Like, you think that Aces is worthy of me?
You've played Mario Party 3, right?
Yeah, primarily with Sungwon because like I never owned it.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's like, Waluigi shows up in tennis, but like it's almost like the origin story for Waluigi in that game.
Yeah.
Or at least they make like a circumstance around it. But you've played that one. Aces is probably the closest to a thing you haven't played that has lore to it. But,
I think Aces would be a good answer, just because from what I've seen, it seems like the gameplay is way more complex than regular tennis. Like, because regular tennis is pretty much just hit the ball, like, from what I remember from 64. And when I played Aces against, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, might have been Dave, I was like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So, in like...
it's much more battle.
Yeah, definitely, like, much more of a learning curve, which I think would actually appeal to him, as opposed to just run around, press A. But what do I know?
Oh, I have one more recommendation for David.
Yeah.
Ooh. And I want to see this. You make a video about this on your channel. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix.
You know, if I can get a hold of the mat and everything, I would not mind.
I would love to try the Dance Dance Revolution Mario game. Let's make that a goal one day that we play that.
Yes.
Oh my god. I mean, listen, like, if you guys liked this episode, let us know in the comments. Who knows? Maybe we'll do more regular Mario talk or something. Just let us know. You know. And we'll
one last question. What are you guys' favorite backdoor pilots?
This one. All right. Thank you, my fellow Mario friends. Where can people find you? We'll start with you, Elvis.
Follow me on Twitter at Elvis Kaboom. And my YouTube channel is Splot Studios, but you should be able to search Elvis Kaboom and find me there.
And David, where can we find you?
I tweet about video games at Mewd462. I've got my video game YouTube channel, which is just Mewd. And the webcomic I write for is jackbeloved.com, and we're also on Topless and Webtoons.
Thank you, boys. This has been fun. I'll have you on again at some point for sure. Otherwise, thank you so much for being on my podcast. Woohoo!
Goodbye, everybody.
So long.
Bye.